Hello and welcome to Cafe Mutual YouTube channel. Friends, the mutual fund industry has been growing tremendously. In fact, in the last 5 years, we have only seen positive net inflows and sustained SIP inflows. But what would happen in future for the mutual fund industry and how could we sustain this growth? To find answers to these pertinent questions, today we have invited Kailash Kulkarni, CEO HSBC Mutual Fund. Kailash has over 3 decades of experience in BFSI space. Kailash is a management graduate from the Institute of Management Development and Research. He loves to travel around the world and is passionate about adventure sports. So let's welcome him. Good morning, Kailash, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nishant. It's always good to be a part of the Cafe Mutual event shows and channel. And a warm welcome to all your listeners.
Great, great, great. So Kailash, so 2 years have been passed since the merger of L&T and HSBC. So what are your three key priorities for the company now?
So I think, yes, it's just a little over 2 years and 1 month since the integration happened. I think the good news is that the integration has gone off very smoothly. I think the acceptability of what we want to achieve, what we plan to do, has gone down very well with the distribution fraternity. As you know, HSBC being a global brand, we are present in more than 20 countries on the asset management side and about 70 countries on the banking side. The clear focus of HSBC Group is the Asian market, and obviously India is a very key component of the Asian market apart from Hong Kong and Singapore also. So while the headquarters being in London, the big focus for the bank and all of us in the asset management is the growth in Asia. And that's what I think the whole focus is in terms of putting in resources, putting in the additional budgets, etc. Everything is being put into Asia for a faster growth. HSBC truly believes that Asia is going to grow much faster than the rest of the world, and hence a lot of senior management is also now sitting out of Asia to give that impetus. For us on the asset management side, clear focus, we want to become a top 10 player. That's something which was stated at the time of acquisition. So clear focus on growth. We have added few branches in the last 1.5 year. And more importantly is also new client acquisition for us to grow our client base so that it becomes a truly retail and HNI oriented asset management company, which is there with a very good focus on fund performance. I think that's the hygiene when you come. So when you look at the priorities, fund performance being in the top. When I say top, our philosophy is that it should always be in the top two quartiles. Sometimes you may slip to quartile two, but ideally quartile one. Uh, Getting more and more new customers and working very closely with distribution partners to grow the business as we speak.
Okay. So talking about the growth of the industry, Kailash, so as you know that the mutual fund industry has witnessed tremendous growth over the last 5 years. So this was due to confluence of many factors like market rally, sustained inflows through SIP, entry of new investors. How can the industry sustain this growth and ensure that this momentum remains intact?
So I think one of the key triggers for this growth of number of clients is I would attribute it to two major things. Number one, the industry initiative of promoting mutual fund as an asset class for investors to invest in through the mutual fund Sahiye campaign and sustained campaign through digital, social, television, etc. The second, the emergence of technology, which makes it easier for clients to buy uh, the funds which they want to choose. So these are the two big drivers because of which I think. So third is that if you look at historical returns of mutual funds, thanks to the rally, what you talked about the last 5 years, they have been looking very, very attractive, which also helps many people wanting to shift. Fourth, I think the traditional mindset of people in India is moving from the gold and real estate to financial products. I think all these factors are contributing to the growth. And that is why, unlike in the past where we had to try and sell funds, and there was a resistance in buying fund.
mm,
Today, clients are more acceptable. So a lot of clients actually come to us directly saying that I want to buy your product because they've done some research somewhere, etc., etc. And we while today it's a two-way, we have to go to them, they also come to us. I don't think the number of clients who are going to enter this industry is going to slow down.
mm,
The only thing that clients need to understand and appreciate is that the high returns that they've seen over the last 2, 3 years is not a sustainable factor.
mm,
And to that extent, if they come in with a goal based approach, or they come in expecting, kind of early teens to mid teen kind of return, I think they'll not be very disappointed. But if they come in with high expectations, that's the challenge that is there. But the way the industry is focused on promoting investor awareness initiatives and the acceptability, the coverage in the media on mutual funds as a category, a lot of positive coverage about various segments of the mutual fund space. I think that's something which is now being recognized, and we will get new people come in. I'm quite sure that over the next few years, this number of 5.2 crores will double.
okay. But Kailash, as an industry and as an MFD, how can we ensure that this growth remain intact? What need to be done?
So I think a couple of things need to be done.
Mm,
First and foremost is that set the expectations correct. Because
mm,
if you don't set the expectations correct, I
mm,
think that's the first place that you may start seeing
mm,
clients drop out in the future. So if you are able to sit down with the client and tell them that, historically Sensex has given 14%, 14.5% return. So you should expect returns in and around that,
mm,
number. Try and convince them that the last 30%, 40% for which he may have wanted to invest in mutual fund because he's seen historical track record, especially in some mid and small cap fund, is not something which can be sustained for a future. Have that dialogue, talk about goal based investing, try and tell first time investors to enter through, say, index funds or hybrid category as a fund. I think if you do these baby steps, uh, you know, it may be painful at first. Second, document a lot of this conversation that you happen and send it to the client, because hypothetically assume that suppose 1 year doesn't go well, the clients come back to and say, see, you never told me all these risks. So I think documenting these risks and documenting the conversation that you have with the client always helps you uh, for the future. That I think is very, very important.
Small changes can make a big difference. Mm. Okay.
Yes,
So Kailash,
absolutely.
so Kailash, what are the main opportunities and challenges for the MF industries in the days to come?
So opportunities are a lot. If we are focused and we know that this our country, Bharat, is going to do very well, both from a global standpoint as well as a local standpoint, our economy is expected to be one of the fastest growing economies in the world, amongst the developed nations. I'm not saying the fastest, it could be one of the fastest, and you are expecting that the next 5 years or 10 years will be good for this country, then clearly the markets will do well. Will you have volatility? Will you see corrections of 1, 2, 5, 10%? The answer is yes. That's part of how markets behave. Okay. But if you're willing to stay invested, I think that's an area where uh, that is what is going to give you this long term sustainable investors coming into this industry. So opportunities are galore. If we look at the depth of the market, we are nowhere close to the depth like some of the developed economies have today. Okay, in terms of number of stocks listed, in terms of the trading which happens, although we have been growing significantly in this manner in the last few years, I think we still have miles to go. So is it a good place to park your money? The answer is yes. Is this product giving you liquidity as and when you want it? Unlike other products, the answer is yes. There are many other products which are also good, but maybe in terms of liquidity or in terms of penalties that you have to pay if you want to withdraw early, they could be far higher than the traditional mutual fund. I think even from an HNI space where people are more accustomed to invest in mutual funds, mutual funds is a little boring because there's not too much excitement. You just come in, park your money, leave it for a long time, it'll grow. Whereas you don't get the kick of investing in, say, startups or, some of the other initiatives which are there, which HNIs really love. I'm not saying you should not do those other investment opportunities, but I think you need to understand that your core needs to be a basket of mutual funds, and then you can play with the other products as well. So growth opportunities are a lot. I think in terms of concerns or threats or the other side of the picture which we need to see is volatility will continue. Global events continue to impact markets as we go ahead. So one has to be prepared for volatility. But today, the biggest risk that I see personally, and I'm really afraid of that, is the fact that the investor expectations are too high. And if they are not met, it's like in India we all love Bollywood films, right? And you've heard of a particular film and it has been hyped up so much, and you go to see it and you come back disappointed. So
Hmm.
the question is, are you getting into something with such a big hype that you are expecting very large returns, and then even if you get more than the return the Sensex has given over the 30-year period, you will still be disappointed, unfortunately, because you came in with high. And sometimes you go to a Bollywood film which isn't talked about too much, and you really love the film. And that's done very well at the box office also through word of mouth publicity. So I think that's something we need to be really careful about. And I would urge all distribution partners to keep talking about realistic expectations so that those who are entering the markets now should understand. And if you get more than that, that consider it like a bonus. But I think that's the biggest risk. The good news for us, our elections are just over. National election just about a year back. So, we have another 4 years of the same government. So political stability, to a large extent, economic stability, a government focused on growth, wanting to deliver on infrastructure, you know, wanting make in India. I think there are a lot of positives which are there. So positives outnumber the negatives, which we have in today's market.
Okay. So Kailash, 2024 ended on a good note for HSBC Mutual Fund. In fact, the fund house has witnessed over 30% growth in terms of AUM. So what are the things that has contributed to this?
So I think in the asset management industry, mutual fund industry, the biggest thing which one has to get right is the fund performance. Okay, and I think that is, I think, the hygiene. If you don't have good quality fund performance, I think everything else is secondary in nature. Along with that, you need good after sales service for distributors and investors. Along with that, you also need a good brand recognition. So you should have some advertising or some uh, interesting ways of doing training for the distribution fraternity where they see a value add. So we've been working on multiple fronts, which have helped us. But I think I would like to call out fund performance because people need to start studying the fund performance to really say that, okay, HSBC mutual funds are doing very well. So today, if you look at 1 year performance as of 31st December, and these are Morningstar reports or value research reports, which are available to most people when they want to search, or, you all do a lot of stories on performance of the fund. I think today, 8 out of 11 funds or 12 funds out of our basket, or 9 out of 12 actually, are either in the top decile or in the top quartile in their respective categories. And just 3 funds are in quartile two. So, that's been a stellar performance. Even on the fixed income side, we have very clearly demarcated our funds in terms of which funds will be extreme high quality funds and which funds will take some amount of, lower credit in the sense to give a higher YTM. So we have demarcated this, and we pride ourselves when we say we are true to label. So we do not mix these funds. So if we take, say, money market and low duration, which are in the kind of similar category on the fixed income side, money market is extreme high quality for us, whereas low duration, we do play a little bit of yield papers, so to enhance the yield and returns to the investors. And today, if we look at the future, if we look at fixed income saying that the interest rates are going to come down, I think it's a great time to be invested in equity, great time to be invested in fixed income. So I think all asset classes, including commodities, are expected to do well in the near future. So it's a good time for the investors. So that's been a hygiene. We've done a very well received campaign. We won many awards for it called Sip Hai Faide Wali Aadat to promote SIPs in a very quirky and funny way. People have appreciated that for us. And of course, we are now present in 58 locations with 63 branches in the country. So even in terms of geographical presence to service the distribution fraternity, both MFD as well as NDs, we are very well positioned for that.
Great, great, great. So, Kailash, more than anything else, you always advocate that the true reflection of growth is not AUM and the number of client. So, how are you going about adding more number of investors in HSBC Mutual Fund?
I sincerely hope that one fine day the regulator makes it mandatory that uh, each AMC should also say how many new clients they added to the AMC, and the ranking should be on that, which means even a small AMC, if they've added more number of clients, can become a top 10 AMC. I firmly believe that the number of clients is as important or equally important or maybe more important than the overall AUM that you manage. And how are we going about it? We are doing multiple engagements with clients across cities, physical engagements through learning initiatives, through investor education programs. We also use social media, digital a lot to try and reach out to new investors. We are quite experimentative in that manner. Uh, we will be in 2025 going on television through advertising to get more people. And this is not just on the business channels. This is across business channel, news channels, and some GC channels also. So that's a plan which we have to reach out. And possibly we would like to add a few more cities uh, in the future to our current network of cities that we are present in.
And how can the industry add more number of investors?
So along with that, if I want to add something, I think we need to go more regional. So our communication is mainly English, but can we do, say, 15 or 17 or 20 languages, which means that our ability to communicate, our website should be available in more languages. So I think each one of us is working towards all such initiatives. So at HSBC today, we have marketing material in 6 languages.
Mhm.
Okay. So not just English and Hindi, but 4 other regional languages. Can we make this 10 languages in the near future? The answer is yes. And I think the more deeper we go into India, the more regional we need to be and continue the work in terms of setting high standards in terms of our talking about what you should expect from the market and not just talk about the returns per se. So if you are able to talk about goal-based investing, you talk retirement, for example, very few of us talk of retirement, and we talk to individuals saying why they need to plan for their retirement because families are going more nuclear. I think we will be able to get far more uh, uh, clients at the industry level.
Okay. So you already talk about the performance of HSBC fund. In fact, few of your schemes like FlexiCap and Value Fund have been doing extremely well. So what's the reason for this, Kailash?
I think I will not just attribute it to these 2 schemes, okay? But I would say that many of my schemes are doing well. I think there's a big focus in terms, we've grown our team size also. We've added fund managers, we've added analysts over the year. I think our depth of in-depth coverage that we have through our internal research is what has really made the big difference. So today, we are covering close to 500 companies on our own apart from the research support that we get from the sell side brokers. So, that is something which is there. Uh, the integration of the teams has been very well received. So the fund management size has grown. And I think some of these factors have helped a lot. The other thing, which HSBC has focused on is we have uh, Luxembourg-based funds, which are dedicated India funds, and our team advises them those funds. The fund management is done elsewhere, but the advisory comes from us through our research and our inputs that we are giving. Even that business has grown 2.5 times for us in the last 18 months. So clearly, India being such a big focus, our ability to invest into the investment teams has been pretty good. We also currently have a small PMS, which is about 500 crores, which is sold to a few clients. We would love to grow that business also. So I think the focus that we have brought in, Venu and Sriram both have done a fantastic job in terms of uh, getting the teams together. I think that's been the main reason for success.
Okay. So, Kailash, as you know that our regulator is very dynamic, right? So, what is your expectation from the regulation in 2025?
If I wish I knew that answer, what would be the regulators in their mind? But if I have to say something, the regulator is clearly focused on client, okay? And that we do right by the customer. I
Hmm.
think that's the focus of the regulator. And if we collectively as an industry continue to set practices which are fair, which are transparent, which are good for the customer, I think regulator may not come out with too many new changes at all. Okay, it's the industry who has to set out that context in terms of setting those standards. And they like like we have heard the regulator say this multiple times. It's the spirit of the law that we need to follow, and that's not just the law. So I think if we are able to demonstrate very clearly that we are following the spirit of the law on behalf of the end customer. And when I say end customer, we are not talking of corporates, we are not talking of super HNIs, we are talking of the retail client, and we are able to protect their interests. I think I don't see too many changes. But in this, if we falter, then there will be more regulatory changes. And this is not just for asset managers. This is for asset managers. This is for distribution companies, whoever is in the mutual fund universe. I think all of us we need to do that.
Okay, so one last question, Kailash. What would be your key message to the distributors in 2025?
It's going to be like a stuck record, Nishant. But I think manage client expectations is going to be my biggest feedback to the distributors and direct investors who come to us. Managing client expectations is important because then you will get many, many more clients coming to us. The second is uh, not just speak to clients, document things, and have that conscious way of evaluating it. When you sit with the client next, that this is what we had said, this is what we need to do. And if you move towards goal based investing or retirement investing, I think that is something which will really stand us in the good for a long time to come.
So, all right, we have come to an end to this interesting session. Thank you so much, Kailash, for your valuable time and inputs.
Thank you, Nishan. Thanks for inviting me,
And
and
finally,
wishing all the viewers of Cafe Mutual uh, the very best for a great year ahead.
great, great, great. And finally, I thank each one of you for being such a wonderful audience. Have a great day at work, guys. Bye.